Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now my headphones are working, right when I take them off. There we go. Okay, so just to start off, this is the first import UX office hours. And this is really set up just to make sure that, front end Ilya and I and Harris are all on the same page, and that to remove any blockers, discuss any work, and so on. So with that then being said, I'll go ahead and share my screen. Yeah. And we can, so what I was thinking, Ilya, is, and let me know if you have something else you'd like to discuss or had something else in mind, but we can walk through the solution validation findings for the group migration MVC. And Harris and I can kind of talk about what's like the results and the outcomes and kind of what's in store for the near future.
Yeah, for sure. I will be happy to hear, because we finally got it merged to master. It means that approximately tomorrow it will hit staging, and there I will be able to enable feature flag. So finally, both of you will be able to take a closer look at least how it works and feels on the staging before it will get to the production.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Ilya. I appreciate all of your work. Especially given you've, you were, I was just going to say, especially since you were sick for some of it.
It was a bumpy road by all means, including the code and personal issues, but whatever, I'm happy to have it ready. So yeah, I'm ready to listen. I'm really curious.
Okay. So what I did within the research issue, if you want to actually look at the recordings and see a little bit more of the interviews and details, as well as the transcripts, you can sign up for that Dovetail link. And that's where we house a lot of our research. So in the future, you might need access to that, possibly. So this is the Better UX for group creation, solution validation. So what, we interviewed 5 participants, they were all internal. And I shared with them a prototype, and basically it's the prototype of the group migration experience from end to end. And then we asked several questions related to the group migration experience. And here's some of the insights. So in respect to finding the new group creation, so we asked, like, how would you go about navigating to the import page? A lot of folks went to the groups and projects drop down within the main navigation, top bar navigation. So that was pretty interesting. And let's see, they expect everything to be imported. We have some discrepancy on how the plus drop down is used. Like one really interesting one was, one user said it looked like an option to customize the top bar rather. Another thought it was an overflow of the top navigation. So I think there's a lot of work that can be done around that. And I don't know if that's necessarily import per se, or I think we're trying to figure out which group owns that type of navigation. And some suggestions are to guide the users to, how to import your group. So if they're importing for the first time, maybe give them some sort of language around, this is step 1, this is step 2, this is what to expect, etc. And let's see. Again, we're missing information on why we should connect to another instance. And then the simple one of changing text from group to groups to insinuate there are multiple imports that can be done. So here I've listed out some of the action items. So here we're talking about the navigation, which is kind kind of a hot topic right now, given that I have found out that there are a couple of folks working on this area of navigation. So I think we need to coordinate and consolidate and figure out who owns what and how that's going to look. So this will be definitely more of a, I don't want to say work in project, but a larger effort, I would say, or it's turning into be maybe more of a larger effort. Again, guide users to the first step in moving over a group, and then update the text. Next, we went on to the group import page. So this is where we give them two options, one to connect to an instance, the other to upload a file. So everyone generally understood the difference between the two. There were some, manual versus automatic, but there was definitely the distinction between the two. A lot of users said that they would choose the connect to instance, so adding your URL, just because it was a simpler process. It looked like it'd be faster, essentially. And let's see. Oh, the beta badge. So when we observed folks interacting with the beta, or if they would even mention it, like everyone skipped over the beta. So we have since updated that. Is this right? This is not the issue. That's the wrong issue.
The one's closed. If you scroll down to the bottom of it, there may be a link to which one's closed against. Warning message, that one.
Yeah. So we're changing that to be a little bit more impactful. And then again, which one would they likely use? Import groups from another instance because it looks easier. Any suggestions would be, oh, this is a big one, showing groups that have previously been imported so they wouldn't like duplicate the effort. So that's important to not only the admin, but also different members, I think, of the group. Karis, correct me if I'm wrong in saying any of this. But let's see. Most of the suggestions center on lack of clarity, just really communicating to the user what can be brought over and from where. Also, oh, here's another thing. What happens when someone is committing code in between the import and export? So, how do we ensure that this A, doesn't happen, or B, it's somehow remedied in a way that the user doesn't have to do cleanup after the import happens. Oh, this is interesting too, which I can't believe I didn't catch, but one user expressed that they'd like the ability to create a new parent group within the dropdown. So if you imagine the import page, you have that dropdown that you're able to select which group. They're saying that they would like the ability to create a new parent group within that. So some action items out of there. Again, more clarity, probably involving text, and then increase awareness around the beta import limitations. Show groups that have previously been imported, and again, allow the user to create a new parent group from the dropdown. Then from here we went into importing group from another instance of GitLab. So essentially I just asked them to do so, like walk me through the steps and verbalize what they see on the screen, etc. So when we asked them to describe what's on the page, one thing that stood out is user was confused by how many groups they had access to or how many groups were shown on the page. So we do have an issue created that we're adding showing 1 out of 20 out of 163 groups. What we're also going to include that I'm working on currently is pagination. So how does that work? And perhaps do we get rid of showing 1 out of 20? That's still, you know, to be determined, I suppose. And then when we ask the user what they would be able to search by, everyone said source name. And I don't think that's necessarily relevant. So everyone pretty much was on the same page of where they could edit within the page. Let's see.
I did just a quick point. The second bullet point in what they asked, when asked what they would, right above that, yeah, the scary point, I have created an issue for that, and we can link that later, but I've created an issue for that, and it was definitely around when you say search, it felt like they're gonna get a different result set than the one that's on the page. Whereas, you know, filter would be more appropriate because it's really taking the issues, all the issues that are shown right now, and just showing a smaller subset. Where search felt like it's going to just search everything again, and we're going to get a new result set to begin with. So I created an issue to, I think I've added a note in the issue that already existed to replace the word search with the word filter.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I can add that. I know what issue you're talking about. Let's see. I think that, sorry, I'm just reading through this quickly and calling out anything important. So perhaps group templates is something that we explore in more of the distant future. But that's something interesting, that a concept that was brought up during our user interviews. I think that one user was confused by why the source group had the external link icon and the new group that you created, that you've imported, does not. So that was just a usability import or issue. And then everyone was saying, or not everyone, I should say, but bulk import is extremely important, which we know that's coming. So I won't necessarily, go ahead.
Made me jump in. Harris, the multiple and bulk import is extremely low hanging fruit, I believe, from all of this. We have backend 100% ready for bulk import. It is like, so we need a zero backend job. We have front end actually built in mind that we will perform bulk import in future. I mean, right now, actually, when you click the import button, it is requesting bulk import of one group. So it was built with this in mind.
So what do you consider bulk import? Requesting more than one group at a time, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we could theoretically have bulk import of all the groups you could see. Like that would be just one button that says import all, and you would just package all that and do a bulk import.
Yes, I can do that, but I suggest exploring like, and we previously discussed that a bit ago, and this was also built with this in mind, possibly having something like a email-like checkbox experience. So you have the checkbox across allowing select multiple groups. You have one checkbox at the top allowing to select all groups, and the import button in top, which will saying import 5 groups, 6 groups, or whatever, how many you've selected. But in terms, like I said, if we have a design agreed, this will be a very quick delivery. And as mentioned, a lot of people, and I also, when I tried this by myself, asked it about bulk import. And I believe we can deliver a lot of value with significantly low effort because we built that with this feature in mind.
That's a great point. We do have the issue that's linked right there on the page.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wasn't going to prioritize it until later because I wanted to get some other things done. But given what you just said, that it's not going to be as costly,
Yeah,
I'm going to
it is
prioritize it
extremely
higher.
low cost.
Cool. That's good. Good to know. I will definitely make sure we prioritize this sooner rather than later then.
Okay, and the last area that we tapped on with a few of our participants are the history of imports and the concept behind that. So when asked if viewing the history of imports would be useful, yes, because of duplicating efforts which they could avoid. Also, rerunning an import is desired. And let's see. So when asked if they expected a re-import, will rewrite existing data? Yes, they do. Or that we only asked one participant. So any additional information? Other users config to see. Oh, I cannot think of what that was. Harris, do you remember? I might take this out. I can't remember what that one was about.
No, I did not remember that.
I bet this is about that we currently show only top level groups. That means you will not be able to see user instances on the other side. I mean, for example, if I'm user A on my GitLab instance and I have multiple projects, I will not be to perform bulk import of them. I bet this is about it. Because it's mentioning about other users.
I'll go back and clarify.
Yeah, maybe we can go back to the recording and see what,
Exactly.
add some more context.
Yeah. An audit page for admins. I think we've been talking about this for a while. And then filter on imported groups page to show imported versus available. So kind of exploring what that looks like, if that's a filter or perhaps that then becomes tabs. I don't know, still TBD. So that's basically the summary of just some of the insights that we learned from our user interviews. Do you have any questions or thoughts, Ilya? Does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. 1 second, I'm just bringing my local GitLab instance where I have this one enabled because I want to check that I believe we have an ability to search groups in dropdown. This is addressing the step 3 when asked if able to edit any information on page. The destination group should have a way to search. I believe we have this one, just need to check. It takes a while.
Yeah, and there was several comments around that. One was the ability to search or narrow down those choices, because if you have a large structure that you're importing from, that could be really big. Another question was, is this a flat list of the tree that exists on the other side? Or is this a flat list of just the top level things on the other side? Or
for now it's the top level. If we decided to go with top level, yeah.
Right, but so where we're going to go in the future is potentially be able to show a tree and pick from a tree, and also where we're going to. So the destination drop down, also the ability to create a new group there that didn't exist before. And there was also a question: what does that look like if there is no top level groups on the destination? So let's say destination has no groups right now whatsoever. Will that work? Like, how is that?
No, that will blow up right now with any proper message. I have this in mind and I was going to create issue for that.
Okay, so that's something I probably need to follow up, because that is a valid scenario that should be covered by MVC. And
so Harris, Would the situation be that a new user joins GitLab, they have all of their data on GitHub, they want to import, you know, immediately after maybe they've created a project or something like that. Are you saying there's no group created, so they can't actually import into anything?
Well, in GitLab, there is a group created, so that's not a problem. Problem is a new user joins GitLab. Oh, sorry, as in you meant joins GitLab as in signs up for GitLab service, right? Yeah, yeah. A new user signs up for a new GitLab service. They land in a blank instance that they're associated with, and now they want to import. And if they don't have any groups already created, there's no way to create groups, and apparently just blows up. So we definitely want to fix that, you know, as soon as like a follow-up to MVC, like a quick
and also that will require some effort because we need to understand if the user has a permission to create top-level group. I mean, to create any kind of group to land.
If the user has no permission to create any group, they should be stopped at when they click the new group button. We have a similar problem with the new project. There was a problem with new project where users who don't have enough license to create new projects, they were able to actually proceed and it just blows up somewhere. So I think we should follow the same pattern, which is we do not let you get to the point where this happens. So however we handle it for
you've
project, we
mentioned
should handle
a pretty important point. It is also right now, it is extremely obvious blow up when you reach the project limit during group export. So you mean you are hitting the project limit set as by your administrator during the bulk export, and everything goes insane. There is like no good way to understand why something was imported, why something was not imported, and so on.
Well, that's not a problem today because we don't have projects as part of group import, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, before we add, okay, that's a good, I will make sure that I will add that and solve for that before we add projects into group migration.
Yeah. 1 second, because I'm just checking because I'm pretty sure I've hit some kind of weird limit which was license bound when I was, but never mind. I will check because I don't remember which limit I've hit during the export. Yeah, I can't figure it right now. Okay, whatever. So I have finally my instance back. I just wanted to do a quick check on one small thing. It is terribly slow. I just wanted also to take a look at the Kanban board to make sure what of these we have prioritized for next. Yeah, so 1 second, let me share my screen.
Sure.
Just for a second.
Yeah,
so yeah, just check it here. We have an autocomplete for picking the group, the 2 new group destinations. So no matter how many groups you have, you could quickly find any one, and it is working the same way the project autocomplete does. Perfect. So this is like not the issue with the real implementation. Yeah, so could we quickly take a look in the, so thank you. We can now go back to sharing your screen probably.
Sure, I have it up. Let's see.
Yeah, so could we quickly take a look what we have planned for among these? Could you please add also the label front end to the filter?
Yep.
Yeah. You are too quick. It's a known issue.
I know. Yeah. I do it
Yeah.
all the time.
Apparently everybody's too quick.
Yes, and actually I wrote the component which makes this a proper way, but it obviously takes forever to replace it in GitLab. I mean, this filter bar. So this is these ones, and actually we have, I believe, do we have a label for the just groups import, Harris? I don't remember.
What do you mean, just groups import?
We should.
It's already applied. The group import label is already applied.
No, not our group. I mean, like a bulk import.
No. For the new,
okay.
There's no label for the new feature.
Okay, yeah. No problem. Because like these three.
There's an epic.
Yeah, two of them are maintenance. Yeah. I'm just trying to see. Well, warning message. I believe I will await it today, and we will put it back in dev. So I'm just want to check what we have in terms of priorities. So first two sounds good for me, and they are pretty easy. Yeah.
Those two top in refinement, those are actually deliverables for 13.8. We talked about
that.
Yeah,
this is definitely.
But I think we need to put that that blow up issue ahead of at least one or the other, maybe like in between the two. The one where you don't have a top level group and then the thing blows up. So I will put that issue in between these two.
It's fine for me. It's not that big because I have exactly the same code handling the projects import. Mm-hmm. So that should be, we can easily fit it even with this tiny next milestone, it will be deliverable.
Yeah, I mean, if even if it wasn't, I would do it just ahead of the show, the total number. So if only two get delivered, then it should be these two, and this one should be just left for 13.9. So that's fine. Like, yeah. I'm not even pushing for.
Just to understand, do we expect to enable the feature flag for group import on GitLab.com as early as possible?
Yes. As soon as we have the issues across the finish line, we should turn that on because we need to start, getting feedback for it.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, right now we are just waiting for documentation. Okay.
I'm sorry, I have to drop off. I have another meeting starting now, but you guys continue.
For sure.
All right. That was a good first meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye.